Hey, hi, I'm Warren Whitlock, and this is another Emerging Technologies podcast. Today, we're going to have some fun talking about the superpowers for humans. How about a few examples of how we're going to get superpowers? First of all, let's talk about what superpowers are. We know what Spider-Man or whoever has the superpower. Won't go into those. We could talk all day just about those superpowers. But what I'd like to talk to you about is real superpower, things that extend the ability of a human. And to get the right focus on this, let's go back to our grandparents or say 100, 200 years, whatever's a nice thing there. I've been alive for 69 years now and it's seeing just incredible change, but I don't think of it often. Except for when I start looking at what was happening just before I was alive and that kind of history and how much things have changed from, say, the early 1900s until today. Even more if you go back, because there was some great growth in the late hundreds. And so then you go back many hundreds or thousands of years without much changing on a regular basis for the average person. Number one being you would be born, grow up with working, helping. The family was almost a production unit of trying to keep themselves alive, survive, maybe get some school, and then get out in the fields and make sure there was enough to eat for the family, whether or not there's the hunting and there's the other occupation. But that was it. And then after a good 25, 30 years, you're gone. People lived longer, but it was rare. And the number that died young made the average age extremely low. And now we keep our babies alive a lot better than we used to, probably 10 times better than 100 years ago in most of the world. And right there, that's changed the average age up because you don't have all those statistics of the young ones dying. And then we extend in other ways. So it's very common to see somebody with glasses today, and nobody had glasses. I would not be able to talk to you if I was not cyber enhanced, because I would have kicked the bucket a long time ago with my eyesight if I didn't have modern contact lenses. About half the time I'm complaining that I have to blink and they aren't quite right. The rest of the time, I am just so generally grateful for having this because I lived for years with glasses and then with the first contacts I had were horrible. Now I don't take them out. I've been enhanced and my tested eyesight now is better than the horrible eyesight that I had without the contacts. My eyes seem to have developed and grown in that way. It's a very small thing. Hearing aids is another thing like that that can totally change somebody's life, and prosthetics of all kinds. But let's get into what's really changed us all, and that's our smartphones. Imagine there was a time, can you remember? I have a hard time remembering it. I will watch a movie and see somebody have to go someplace to find a phone. I've given a lot of thought of that. When I was a kid, you didn't make a phone call unless you were home and your friend was at home. That's not how it is now. You can communicate with anybody instantly all the time. We can travel. You used to stay in a very small place. So when we start looking at the future, which is what we're here to talk about, I think we have to be grateful for the fact that we've come so far so fast. I watched a video clip, and we're going to try to insert that here, that has somebody describing the fast development of robots. And over 10 years' time, how robots that we were just so impressed with that they were able to operate at all got better and better.
Things turn into information. Think about your desk 20 years ago, calculator, all of the different things on your desk that are now an app on your phone. Things turn into information, and information trends towards its marginal cost of production. The marginal cost of production, with artificial intelligence moving at the rate it is, trends towards free. And so you have this force of good in the world that we all use, the technology that's actually, we use technology to free our time. Same reason I use technology in my businesses is to make more value, to deliver more value to society. And if I don't do that construct, my business fails. And so you have one path that's trying to do that and another path that's fighting that. And so I'll show you this video. This is 10 years ago, Boston Dynamics. 7 years ago. One year ago. This year. And again, in that, ask yourself if you saw the video 10 years ago, would you have predicted today? And you can see that prediction problem. And ask yourself if you also, if you see that, where will that be in 10 years from now? Because what you'll capture in your brain is that going forward, and you'll capture those machines going forward instead of them miniaturizing and AI moving everywhere and it looking totally different. That is the picture you'll capture.
You may have seen the Boston Dynamics videos over the year where these things that are four-legged creatures seemed to be able to do well, and then they were standing up and they were able to go over rough surfaces and climb stairs. And we were just wonderment of, wow, how good this was. Then it led up to soon there were the ability for the robot to have a human kicking it, which I thought, wow, that's a interesting way to train the robots, by kicking it and trying to knock it over. Maybe that robot will remember and come back for you when it's sentient. Just a joke. And is it? Anyway, those were so impressive. And that was probably about 5 years ago now. Here's the interesting thing. The video clip is from 2021. At somebody trying to convince people that we should not think of the end of history as being right now. And that means it's a very human tendency. We all do it. I do it for sure. That when we're looking at the future, we look at what we have right now and how it will extend. Because I got to tell you, with the tech I have right now, if I keep working, I'm going to become more productive as I get better at using it. And things are going to be pretty good. Life's not bad. And I can help other people and I can grow myself. And wow, fantastic. But when you compare it to what was available a year ago, you go, wow. And then when you project that out that it's going to be twice as good next year, it starts getting hard to fathom. Now, we have lots of projection, but I want to talk about some stuff that's happening right now that is going to enhance humans to be a superpowered human. First thing I think about is genetic engineering. CRISPR, the ability to go in and splice a good gene in for a bad gene. Gosh, that's one that we've been talking about for a long time. CRISPR's out, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 years. And it just seemed to be something that was on the horizon, was going to happen. Oh, yeah, gene editing, and we're going to have a personal spacecraft tomorrow. Yeah, wow, that just ain't come. Now, it's very common to say that we have a cure for sickle cell anemia, a very ravenous, horrible disease that eats you up and causes people to be in pain most days. And what I've heard is it's intense pain. And whenever I think of it, I just want to cry about, why is there such a thing that's so horrible? They're now curing it. We're still in this stage from the last I heard, of it's not something where they can just, oh, you got sickle cell anemia, here's a shot and you're better. because of the cost of the procedures and everything they've done to make it available. But if it's like any other technology, that's going to come down to where it does become something. And we're talking in a few years, not in decades like we were thinking. That's one of my favorites. There's other companies like Editas, uh, Editas. It stands for editing. EDITAS, Edit Medicine, is using it on all sorts of diseases. It's under development. They're not the only one. There's many. I just picked that one because it's the first one on a list I looked at. And rather than trying to get into all those and what the differentiation is, go look it up. There's people doing videos on YouTube talking about 10 different companies or in depth about one company and what they're doing. And when you see something that's in the labs, it doesn't mean that it's going to be out right away. It also doesn't mean, oh, I don't need to worry about that because it's not out, because that development cycle is dropping too, thanks to these same robots that were, which seemed to be science fiction only a few years ago, and AI, which is now growing. Saw a graph yesterday that the AI, the knowledge and enhancement of what humans know how to do, was growing at an exponential rate. And then the chat versions of AI kicked in. Remember, when you think about what you've seen large language model, LLM, do for a chatbot or being able to ask the computer something. And again, if you're listening to this and you haven't tried that, go try it. Call that AI and or Grok within Twitter. Very easy one. If you've got a Twitter account, you can get right on Grok. I think right now it's a premium account, but it's not much. And you can try these things and basically ask a question and it answers it. That is enhancing your brain power instantly. It does take a little while to learn how to use it. And I ran a poll, probably have mentioned this before, people and their fears of what they don't want to use, why they're not using AI. Boy, it's just incredible the number of people that are afraid of one of the things we've heard is bad about AI, and that's going to hurt them. And my question is, why not use it? Go ahead, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't change your life much. I guess it will when you get the vision to go find a prompt and type in. I can remember hearing the same things when the search engines first came out, and some of them tried to be directories. And then this Google came along with the funny name, and somebody said, you ought to try that. I'm going like, I got 20 different search engines I've tried at this point. What's this new thing called Google? And then I went and I typed in a request to look up something, and there it was. And it was fast and it was accurate and it was surfacing all sorts of things. And I didn't need to scroll through page after page looking for something or trying to reword my question. It seemed today I use Google and I think, can't we do better than this? Yes, we can. Perplexity.ai. But anyway, that's brain enhancement. That's another one. I think we covered the genetic changes. We will be able to change our genes to fix something. Cancer, I saw a study where just about every kind of cancer can be detected before it gets to stage 1. And if you can detect it in the blood, the reason we don't do it is that it becomes very expensive to be testing for every type of cancer there is. But soon, the promise is that we'll be able to test and find any of them in a screening with normal blood tests. And you'll know, your doctor will see, hey, you've got this cancer. Your body probably will kill it anyway, because that's a normal operation of your body. Let's go ahead and give you this shot or take this pill and help your body fight this. And it's gone before it ever becomes something that and I think it'll even be as simple as, here, eat this apple that happens to fit your genes and what you have, strengthen the immune system in whatever way is needed, and kill that cancer before it's something that any human, normal human can see. But you will be a superhuman. You will be living with the ability to break down and get rid of any cancer cells that could be giving you trouble. The other things we have, I've talked a bit about the adding to eyesight or hearing, but we'll be able to enhance many other things. Right now, the exoskeleton test I've looked at recently have get to be like you put on the right pair of pants and your legs are stronger. It's getting to be quite easy. It's still a little bit cumbersome. I watched a demonstration last night about the figure company. They made it a figure one. They are less than 2 years old. They made a robot called Figure One that was impressive, but didn't get a lot of press. They just came out with Figure Two. Look it up. They're all over the place. You can see demonstrations, or if you've seen a demo robot video in the past few weeks, it's that or Elon Musk robot. But this one is an incredible thing. And as they discussed it, they said that was one of the things was the exoskeleton. That right now that's on robots. Certainly will be able to use to enhance humans of not having to have two structures, one to hold the thing together and one to give it strength. And I'm oversimplifying at best or completely not understanding, but it went from 2 to 1. It was able to make the robot lighter, and that means that these exoskeletons will be there. It's already humans that can run faster with replaced legs. Boy, that one once in a while has tempted me that I'd have no more of the problems I've had in my feet. I was just able to replace everything up to the knee. No, I'm not seriously considering that would be something I do, but why not? You'll be you would not have any pain and they actually can perform better. So I'll tell you why not. I just creeps me out, but we'll see. The cognitive enhancements, the physical enhancements, they're all just coming. And then I got to talk about a big one. It's the psychological and social effect. Right now, it seems to be, at least according to the polls of people I'm talking to, that the general public doesn't think that AI is changing greatly our everyday lives and the other technology. Boy, I've not even covered the other things that are coming, but changes in how the world works, that finance is going to be an entirely different thing somewhere in the next 10, 15, 20 years. We're going to get to a point that the way you thought about money since you were born, it's not going to be like that. It's already changed so many ways that it used to be that you had to have cash, and if you were lucky, some kind of a credit card to be able to do business. We wrote checks, and now it's all done electronically and instant settlements. And what the laggard is the government and the big banks and the way they run things, they're slower to change. But we see that coming, and it'll be a different world that you will get credit for doing good and helping your neighbor, and they'll be helping you. And even more fundamentally, the idea that technology deflate money and the need for money, will be there. Just look at your cell phone and ask, have prices been falling? Yes, incredibly. The things I can do with the one brick in my hand compared to what I was able to with a technology that I needed just 10, 20 years ago just incredible. And that instead of looking at that increase, the GDP, gross domestic product for an economy is counted on how many of these dollars or whatever currency can be exchanged between people, and accumulating them seems to be the goal of the people that have a lot of it, where it could be that you could be living a rich life without having this huge salary or without having to work about a job that pays you for your time because the robots will be doing it for you. What are you going to do with your superpowers?